Chatham House, 2nd of June 2023, are China and India about to engage in another fatal border conflict to maintain attention on the north? While constructing her navy to rule the Indian Ocean, China aimed to concentrate India in the north. To maintain India's attention on the wrong thing, China will exacerbate the situation in the north. In a Himalayan flashpoint, India continues to experience turbulence. India and China have long fought each other for control of the Aksai Chin area, which was the scene of fatal hostilities between the two Asian superpowers 3 years ago. In the 6 months following October 2022, satellite photos reveal an area increasingly in flux. On the Chinese side of the ill-defined line of actual control, there are now established Chinese positions where there before were scattered People's Liberation Army (PLA) checkpoints and crude posts. China has established a vast network of installations in this area, creating an environment to facilitate the deployment of its PLA troops. The Galwan Valley, where 20 Indian and at least 4 Chinese soldiers were killed in a fight in June 2020, is located in Aksai Chin, which Beijing administers as part of Xinjiang and Tibet. Still, New Delhi claims to be a portion of Ladakh. The possibility of a chance encounter turning into a Sino-Indian crisis between the two nuclear powers is genuine, given that both sides continue to differ on the exact boundary position. This means that India's armed forces will now need to be able to counter a sizable, likely temporary Chinese presence along the Aksai Chin border, maybe for years to come. As recently as 2019, Aksai Chin was a bleak, deserted area with snowy peaks and freezing lakes that was also tense. Following a stalemate between the two nations in Bhutan in 2017, meetings between Chinese President Xi Jinping and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi aimed to diffuse tensions in the Himalayas. But in May 2020, several PLA units launched a significant invasion into the disputed region of Aksai Chin, or Eastern Ladakh as India refers to it. The PLA reached Aksai Chin in force that spring before Indian and Chinese foot patrols collided, exchanged words, and departed. The PLA had already built temporary positions in important locations when the Indian Army intervened. Insightful intelligence failed to reach local Indian commanders, and those in senior ranks allegedly overestimated the PLA's objectives, according to speculation in the Indian media. The issue was only stopped from worsening through protracted consultations between Chinese and Indian commissioned officers and meticulous bilateral diplomacy at the level of the foreign minister. Following the Frozen River route, a series of PLA bases in the Galwan Valley can now be seen rising from the central standoff location. Chinese outposts are visible in Rakanala, a river valley south of the disputed Depsang Plains, and may be able to obstruct Indian patrols in the region. A bridge is also nearly finished at Pangong Tso, a salty lake encircled by craggy peaks and punishing ridgelines. When complete, it will make it possible for Chinese forces to be quickly deployed from the PLA's Rutog military base to the disputed mountain ranges that overlook the lake. India's reaction to the increased presence of the PLA has been complex. The Indian Army has attempted to counteract China's actions on the ground. The blocking forces India's Northern Command deployed matched the Chinese operations and would stop the further incursion. In addition, the Indian Army has taken over the tops of several mountains, forcing the Chinese to leave crucial areas, particularly those near Pangong Tso. Alongside these actions, a persistent diplomatic effort is made. The avoidance of a direct military confrontation with China is a top objective for New Delhi. India's government discreetly acknowledges the tremendous challenge Beijing and its upgraded armed forces provide, despite the aggressiveness of nationalist voices. Modi has cautiously addressed Aksai Chin's militarization with caution since he doesn't want to be caught up in a military conflict. The Indian Army has made cautious pronouncements from his office and has favored protracted border negotiations, the 18th round of which ended in April of this year. Although they are still highly contested, the reasons for China's short march across the line of actual control are well documented. Given how secretive Chinese politics has become under Xi, only the top echelons will likely know the underlying motivations. Whatever the motivation, the PLA is already firmly established in Aksai Chin and appears to be planning to stay there to divert India's attention away from the south. Two significant Chinese activities in the area might keep tensions at a simmer. There is still a lot of Chinese activity at the Depsang Plains. The highest airfield in the world, Daulat Begoldi, acts as a logistics and transport base for Indian operations at high altitudes. Patrols appear to be trying to exert pressure on and obstruct the development of this airport. It is essential to back Indian battalions set up to fight China and Pakistan. The second development concerns the proposed Chinese G695 expressway connecting Tibet and Xinjiang. It will traverse the entirety of Aksai Chin, passing through the Depsang Plains, the Galwan Valley, and Pangong Tso before finishing in 2035. It is a strategic artery that will link the disputed area to mainland China and open up a new supply line for the PLA. From Beijing to New Delhi, the route might also be interpreted as a declaration of purpose, indicating that Aksai Chin will remain a part of China. The risk assessment in New Delhi has changed due to the changes taking place in Aksai Chin. Before, it appeared possible to divorce border concerns from other negotiations with Beijing regarding the trade deficit and climate change. However, recent confrontations and the area's militarization have injected nationalism into Sino-Indian relations. A severe winter is settling in between India and China in Aksai Chin. It might not thaw for a while or until China is wiped out.